Thanks for listening to the Book on Recruiting. This is Dino Cotton and Ryan Fritchie. If you like what you're hearing, please follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And even better, download or like us on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Hey everyone, thanks for listening. We wanted to call Congress into session today, emergency meeting of Congress, because we just had something that's grinding us up, and it gets
grinding
at
our
us every
gears.
day. Grinding our gears, like Peter Griffin.
Not tickling my fancy, let's just say that.
Not tickling our fancy. And this is stuff that we deal with sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly. I mean, it actually, honestly, it comes in many facets of life. But for psychologically, we'll get into that in a second. It's, why are there such bad recruiters out there, right? Not to toot our own horn, but we're like the best two recruiters in the world. Sitting here, you're listening to us. It's like music, right? But no, there are some bad ones out there. We've talked about it in a couple of past episodes, but something that came up recently. Ryan and I, we decided, hey, the purple squirrel logo that we had, we're going to do a new logo. We're going to do something custom. So Ryan comes up with, hey, Fiverr.
Yeah, so, I'd had a little bit of experience with Fiverr in the past. It started off, for $5, you can get all this stuff done. A caricature of your face or whatever. So our initial thought was, let's cartoonize our faces and make it kind of, entertaining, fun. Not as realistic. So I reach out to a guy. I pick a guy who is actually $15 because
But his was the Grand Theft Auto conversion, right? Like his title was like, "I'll make your face look like Grand Theft Auto."
Yeah, and he'd gotten good reviews, and I'd seen some of his work. It looked okay. So this guy sits in Slovenia. I don't care if you do good work. I don't care where you're from. Whatever. It's inexpensive. And he was very communicative about things. He sent a couple like wireframe kind of pencil drawings, and we were like, okay.
we were like,
maybe. He's like, well, wait till I get the color and the shading in. Okay. So after probably 12 to 15 revisions, we get a product back, and finally I just was kind of tired of dealing with the guy. So I was like, you know what? I accept it. Fine. Great. It looked really silly. I mean, to put it bluntly, we look like different ethnicities.
Definitely. Our teeth didn't look real, and then he added lines into the teeth.
Well, first, we didn't even have teeth. We just had gaping open spaces where you could see a tongue in our mouth.
It was a cartoon tongue that we just draw behind the teeth.
Well, and needless to say, I had provided him with several pictures of our face, and he picked pictures for the, specific pictures for what he chose to pattern the logo off of, and it didn't really look like it. I'm like, well, okay, you can see my teeth in that photo. You can't see an open mouth. You can't see this. I mean, I know I'm overweight a little bit, but my eyes aren't that squinty. They're not that turned the wrong way.
Yeah, in this picture, I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the comparison. Ryan, you look like you just like really love life, and your eyes are just going.
He could have been further from the truth.
Yeah. And so we shared out. You hadn't shaved for a while, and the funny thing is, I have more facial hair than Ryan, and you have.
I mean, I have a beard.
In the picture.
I mean,
you have a beard, but normally I have like this goat, right? He gave me no goatee.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so we got this picture. Like, so we went to another artist that we found, and we thought, hey, the whole thing with the whole purple squirrel and the unicorn stuff, that's like the mythological creature kind of thing that people talk about, like the really hard to find type of candidate in our industry, right? So you say, hey, I want a three-legged purple squirrel kind of thing, or just a purple squirrel. That's a really hard to find person, right? So for those of you who are not recruiters, because I've been talking to a lot of people lately who are not recruiters, who have been listening to our podcast, thank you for listening. Or a unicorn. What else? I mean, what else could you say? I don't know. There's probably other things out there. Other recruiting terms. People might say a ninja or a rock star, right? Stuff like that. We were thinking about putting ourselves in ninja and rock star costumes, but that would have got a little too much overdone.
Right.
But something fun, something that draws attention. So we came up with this battle of mythological creatures that are behind us going at it. It looks good. I look a little bit more like Russian mob lord in that photo. Ryan looks really cool. You look like a Street Fighter character, to be honest with you.
I told him what I do in my personal life, and he mirrored it perfectly.
He did. He was like a little bit like Dahaslam and Baraka from Street Fighter 2, mixed with a little Chun-Li. You like a little upside down,
a little feminine
kick.
Spin on it. But
yeah. So it looks like we're angry or arguing, but we're not. But the whole intent is for this podcast to look interesting because we're talking about recruiting.
When you see a podcast, I've clicked on podcast because, wow, that looks interesting, or that's different. I want to see what this is about because I don't know just based on the logo.
Right.
And especially with the purple squirrel and the unicorn, it's funny. That's just commonplace in my language now.
Sure.
But there's a lot of people that have asked us, what's up with the purple squirrel? What's up with the unicorn? And it gives us an opportunity to explain it. But if I'm looking at a picture and I see a purple squirrel and a unicorn, I'm probably going to click on it. That's just because,
right.
it's
I mean,
something
we
you
can
don't
change
see
it
every day.
up. We can start saying, hey, you know what? Find me a candidate that's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Find me a leprechaun.
Right.
Then people will start getting a different perception, right?
Find me the city of Atlantis.
Find me a leprechaun. Find me a city of Atlantis. Find me... I don't know. Find me... aliens or
Dino's
something
dignity. Whatever. That's really hard to find.
Find my dignity, and that's what you look for candidates. You can't find it, right? So, anyway, to put it up, generate some conversation on it, there's a website, or there's a group on Facebook called Recruiters Online. So I posted this on LinkedIn, which everyone's pretty much, for the most part, pretty professional, in my network at least. So they gave me, I said, which picture, which logo is better, A or B? Now, here's the deal. We've found people, Jack Stebner, who was on the show, he likes logo B better.
Right.
He likes it.
It's cheesy. It's over the top.
It's cheesy. It's over the
attention
top.
grabbing.
Yeah, he likes it better. So I'm like, okay, well, let's put it out there, see what people say.
And I don't even think you said. I think you said it's not which is better. Maybe you did. I thought it was out of these two. Basically, which do you prefer? Maybe you said it. Which is better.
Verbatim, right here. We had two different artists work on a design for our recruiting podcast logo. Which one is better? Now.
Okay.
Basically, I give you an A and B option. I literally put A and B in this little
labeled
combined
A,
picture. So the notion is that when I say which one is better, you would give me A or B because those are the options you've been given, right? So what ended up happening is some people, it's Facebook, right? So the negativity just oozes out of people off of Facebook and stuff like that. Some people say neither, right? So
none
a lot
of
people,
them.
none. I don't like either. Both are awful. As
Right.
one guy said. Well, it's like, I didn't ask you,
Okay.
because art can be very subjective, right? There is literally a green framed picture of a monkey with a headset on with a green background behind Ryan right now.
That's a self-portrait, man.
It's a self-portrait. That's art. Some people might hate that. I think it's kind of cool, right? But some people don't like art, right? So, okay. I'm not asking you, is this art, is this pretty?
This as a form of art or...
I'm not saying, hey, imagine that you're an art critic for a second. I'm not asking that. I'm saying, which one is better? You know what I mean? Like, if I said to you, what would you rather be in? Really hot summers in Arizona or really cold winters in North Dakota or Alaska?
Right.
I didn't say, there's an option to be in the Caribbean where it's perfect all year long. I said, no. Which one was it, right?
I play a game with my nieces and nephews. I put a piece of candy in my right hand or my left hand, and I say, pick a hand and get some candy. They don't fish around in my pockets.
That's right.
They pick a hand.
but so here's what ends up happening. So we get Tammy says B is the best. A looks a little aggressive, like everyone is fighting, because obviously Ryan and I fight a lot in this podcast. We got A, then someone says B, argument is better than fighting. It goes down the list. So then, this guy named Michael Kellerman, who I think he has a podcast too, or something like that.
Where he just yells at people. Did you listen to it? I listened to it.
I haven't.
He just screams at people.
Does he really?
And tells them how bad they are. Basically. Yeah. It's like, he's the recruiting animal or something? I don't know.
Yeah, you listened to it. So he wanted us to be on it. Would
Yeah,
he scream
he
at us
invited
if we
us.
were on there?
Well, I think it'd be fun. Like, if we just don't... He
screams at people?
He catches people off guard. He'll, like, go on their LinkedIn. He'll do his research, and they'll be like, why can't you stay at a company for this long? Why can't you do this? And catches people off guard, and then makes them feel and look silly, which, hey, if you want to feel like a bigger person by getting your jollies off on putting other people down, great. But I think
so
we
he's
would
like
have
a
a good...
sensationalist.
Yeah, we would have a good time, because I don't think we would let him push us around. So it could be
Okay,
fun.
well, see, I didn't know that. I haven't even listened to it. So he goes, sorry you asked. Both are awful. But that's just my personal take on them. I'm sure that other people will like them. And so the people are like, I agree with you, Michael, blah, blah, blah. And then someone asks, who are the participants? It's like, who cares? And then the other person goes, honestly, don't care for either, just being honest. Okay, so you're getting the whole intent here. Down the list, I get a lot of neithers. Jeff Schaffzin, Brett Wagner, neither. Neither from me, but I'm old school. And oh my God, the one at the very bottom, the most recently. Another guy, Links 99D, a website. You can get your graphics
He's
done
probably
here.
plugging his company.
Yeah,
probably.
you're like, what the hell? So this one lady, Sandra McCart comes on and says, "Cartoons do not make good logos." Wait, no, cartoons do not good logos make unless you are trying to reach kids. So she writes like Yoda. And then someone comes on and goes, "I don't know, sometimes it works." And they have like a superhero person holding up a resume paper. And then it says, "Sorry, I find that childish distortion." Okay, this Sandra McCart lady, let's look her up. Okay, so I'm looking at her Facebook. By the way, her profile picture is her sitting in a leather chair, and behind her is an old school CRT monitor. I think it's CRT, right? Like the old school, not flat screen monitor. Here's the deal, man. I had a CRT in like the 90s, early 90s, for one of my first computers. This woman is running a CRT monitor.
When the depth in inches of your monitor is bigger than the width of your monitor in inches, that's what we're looking at. Yeah.
So look this lady up. If you're looking, look this woman up. Sandra McCart, McCartt. And by the way, her cover photo is her with a cowboy hat and a horse. So obviously, her style, her taste, she's very technologically advanced. She understands art on a very high level. So that was her response. It's childish. If you want to attract children, create cartoons, says Sandra and her CRT monitor. Okay.
Right.
So what are we talking about here, Ryan? We're talking about why are they bad recruiters? But we're talking about our logo.
Well, and here's something to bring up. Like, Dino and I laughed about a lot of these, and like we're not made of glass. This doesn't hurt our feelings. Am I stopping this podcast or not going to use a logo because someone said they didn't like it? Absolutely not. But what we were talking about, and what kind of shocks us, and then we started expanding this to recruiting and to life. It was a simple thing. We asked someone to follow simple directions and just say, "Hey, what do you like better, one or two, A or B?" And people, for whatever reason, inject their own thoughts, opinions, negativity, whatever into a simple little exercise. And it wasn't a test that we really just wanted people to know, or to know what people thought about.
If you don't like it, you could either not answer,
right?
But you know what? I didn't ask. I didn't say or create an option C. So the segue to the recruiting, why are there bad recruiters, and what's a big DNA thing that comes into people? And this is just human nature, but this is what happens. So going to option A and B again. When you have a customer that comes to you and says, "Hello, Ryan, I need you to find me said candidate," right? Here's the descriptions. Here are the non-negotiables. Here are the things we're flexible on. But here is what I need.
Yeah, here's what's imperative.
Right? I need .NET. I need MVC5. I need SQL Server. I need, JavaScript, CSS. I need these certain things, right? This is what they have to have. Adobe Photoshop. I don't know. They have to have these things. Or option B, which is don't send anything, right? But what ends up happening is a lot of recruiters, much like what you're seeing here on this Facebook, they will create option C.
Well, this guy's got Java experience, but he had C or C++ experience in 1984. So .NET stemmed from indirectly, or it's used with C#, which originated from C++ and C. So let's talk. Does he have MVC? Well, no. He's got some WCF. Okay, not the same thing. I'm saying this because this is what we hear.
Right, exactly.
It's not, guys, and if this isn't even after a month of searching. This is the first shot.
Right.
It's because I've got a guy that's at the top of my resume pile that I want to push, and to me, he seems close enough. Now, let's take a step back. I started as a recruiter. I will always be a recruiter, but I work more on the sales side now, more customer, client-facing. So I can understand where someone wants to push a candidate that they think might be a good fit. But here's what I've come to understand. I'm doing this for a while. I love all the candidates I work with. I work with many of them over and over. I'm friends with a lot of the candidates I place. But my clients pay my bills, and when they need something, it's probably because there's a space missing on their team, that they're not getting work done, or things are getting they're getting behind schedule because they don't have this need. So why would I come to them and present them something that doesn't fit their need? Because it makes me look stupid, first of all.